Welcome, Schenell. Welcome, Schenell.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and just really grateful for the opportunity to just be on the Mama Vegas show.
Oh, I appreciate you coming. I
And
appreciate you
proud.
coming. I appreciate you coming. Before we get completely into dive into the book, can you give us a little bit, share with us the inspiration behind you writing the toolbox for young mothers?
So the inspiration behind it was twofold. One was I was 17 when I got pregnant with my son, and I just remember feeling an immense amount of shame.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shame around me being pregnant at that age. I didn't know what I was going to do, and literally he changed my life. He literally saved my life.
Yeah.
And so it was just such a blessing. But I remember, and I probably held on to that shame until probably about 3 years ago, as far as people being like, oh, well, how do you know he's going to be anything? What are you going to do? How are you going to raise this kid? What's going to happen type of thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was that my daughter also in 2020 wound up having my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And she would call me every day like, Mama, what is this? Mama, what's going on? And so it just started to trigger my memory like, okay, I didn't have anybody to tell me about postpartum. I didn't have anybody to talk about what the role of a grandparent is supposed to be, how to co-parent,
Yeah.
About the finances, being able to just know that you're supposed to use whatever tool you have. If you know how to braid, just braid,
Right.
whatever, because you may not be able to go back to work within those 2 to 3 weeks after you have your baby. So it was a bunch of different things that I wanted to be able to implement and give to the young women when they were having kids that I didn't have.
I agree. Being a young mom, a teen mom myself, you have the parental support. Some do, some don't. But there's no guide to it. And being a teen parent is hard because even though your body has made adult acts and you have a child,
Yes.
you are still growing mentally. And so it's such a jump from a teenager to going into motherhood. So I think being able to, like you say, show that it doesn't have to be shame in that, because a lot of young girls feel that they're the only person that's going through it.
Yes.
And they feel shame, like other people looking down at them, and then that stigma of that stereotype that is put upon young teen moms.
Yes.
So I think that being able to give them resources and then relatable experiences from older women who've been through it, so they can see you'll get past it. You'll get through it. You'll grow. You may think it's hard, but you'll get there. So I am excited to hear a little bit more about your journey. So as a local author, what motivated you to focus specifically? I know you mentioned your daughter, young mothers as your target audience. Would you say it was your upbringing, and what made you focus directly for this book as young mothers as your target audience? Why did you feel it was a need for that?
I felt like it was a need for that because, one, my goal is to always encourage other women, and I feel like sometimes that young mother, that window of becoming a young mother and having that time from if you're 17 going into 18, within this window, there's a very low time. It's a very alone time because if your friends got kids, that means we're not hanging out. So you've lost your childhood in essence.
Yeah.
So it was important for me to let them know, okay, it happened to me. I have been on welfare. I have had all the things, but I'm an entrepreneur now. I've written a book. All of my experiences coming together have helped to create the woman that I am. So it may seem dark and dank now, but it's not going to always be that way. And so that was super important to me, for young women to know that it's not going to always be this way. Because when I had my son and when I was pregnant, I just kept thinking, I'm going to always not have. I'm going to always be without or have some kind of lack. And that's not the life I live. I'm married. I have beautiful children. I have kids in college. I have entrepreneurial children. And I remember, just some people, and they have been friends, family members, whatever, just being like, well, what are you going to do? And me not having any clue.
Yeah.
So I want the young mothers to know it may seem like you don't have any idea right now.
Right.
But I promise you, one of the things that I know is that you will be taken care of. It
Yeah.
will all work out. And literally, I can say how many times that stuff has gone awry, and I have been blessed to be able to pay a bill or do what I need to do. So I just don't want them to give up hope, and that was important to me.
To make sure that don't give up hope.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, coming from someone who's been through it, right? When you can say, I walk the walk and I can talk the talk. Being able to really put that testimony out there to a young mother, I think is more relatable, because then it resonates and they see that what you're talking, they see that it can happen and it can come to. What unique challenges do you believe young mothers face today that you think led you to create the book? Like, different from, of course, 17 years ago or 18 years ago being a teen mom. You know, again, it was a cliche, right? It was still frowned upon. This day and age, it's numerous TV shows, right, that not promote but shine a light on teen pregnancy. What do you think, is a unique challenges about that in this day and age?
So I believe that, yes, it's a light shown on it, but it doesn't show if you're not on a TV show. How do I get from A to Z?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do I stop dealing with this man who I know is no good for me and having multiple children with this man, even though I know I'm in love, I know,
right.
Or even so much as having a parent, a narcissistic parent who is not supportive, and they're like, ain't no man gonna want you if you already got kids, and, just trying to overcome. So they shine a light on it, but there's not a very big window of people or programs or different things like that once you see a teen mom show, how do I not do that if I'm not on TV?
I agree, because they show the
glitz, the glamour.
Yeah,
if I'm making $10,000 a show, of course I can take my child to Disneyland. Of course I can, ride in a car with the sunroof and eat at the finest restaurant.
It may even entice you to want to have a child.
Yes, it may even be like, okay, I want to have a kid, but the reality of it is, if the family support is not there, it's hard.
Yeah.
And even sometimes when the family support is there, nobody talks about postpartum.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about, okay, if I can just save $5 a week to be able to save up for something that I want, you know, how do I use my skills that I have? Or for me, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know, I had not been poured into in that way in certain areas, that I had skills. So then how am I going to make money outside? I have to work for somebody for forever, or not even knowing I can work. So then you're on Snap or on TANF, and I was on all of those things. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to have somebody that is there to say, okay, maybe you don't want to get the people involved in your business. Maybe you do want to just learn how to braid hair. I learned how to braid from YouTube.
Right.
Just different skills. Maybe you cook, whatever. But this is not the end of the world. A teen pregnancy is not the end of the world. Am I glorifying it? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
If you're not ready, by all means don't. If you can help it.
Yeah.
But if you do, it's not the end of the world. You're gonna be okay.
And what do you think, looking back now, was your support system as a young mom? What or whom helped you cope prior to the book, right? So this is your personal experiences from your experiences. So what was your support system like when you were a teen mom?
I'm gonna say my friend group. I'm gonna say my friend group, and I'm gonna say my cousins. Like my cousins would kind of step in and try to be like, okay, I see you doing that, kind of don't do that, but not being overbearing. My friends being like us communicating with each other, like, girl, I know your baby daddy. Don't you talk to him, like, let's go no contact type of thing, and just being able to kind of lean on each other because we're all dealing with similar experiences. And knowing that we want to have our kids turn out and have the best outcome, even in the midst of maybe molestation that we've experienced, maybe, homelessness. I panhandled with my mother when I was like 12. The different things that I have had to go through, it didn't just encompass me being pregnant at that age. It was also me overcoming my trauma and all of the different things, and even down to me getting married, because that was never on my precipice once I had, on the foresight of my mind, like, I'm gonna get married and be in a loving relationship.
Right.
But I am.
Yeah.
And if I had listened to those who were like, well, what you gonna do, girl? You didn't have that baby, and and you're young, and you got no real support. Like, if I had listened to all the naysayers, I wouldn't have wrote a book. I wouldn't have done half of the things that I have done.
Because you believed in yourself.
I had to, and God.
Yeah.
And like I said, the people that support you, they gonna rock with you no matter what. They gonna rock with you when your lights, gas, and water is off, just like mine, or they gonna rock with you when you write a book. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I knew it was always more.
Yeah.
And I want to instill in the mothers that I come across that there's more.
There's more.
It don't stop right here. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you're going to be in it for a minute and you're going to feel that postpartum, but once you get out, do your hair, get up. Let's go. It's go time.
Can you give us a personal experience that resonated with you, not more so the insert yet for us, but that also was inspirational, something that may have inspired you personally after becoming a mother, or prior to, or in between, that you can share, that resonate, that other young mothers, or even as they grew into their adulthood, can resonate with, that was an experience and a triumph that you had after becoming a young mother?
It's been so many. Because, like I said, I would go through up periods. I would go through the time where I was in comparison with my friends, like, oh, I want to get my taxes and get me a new car and stuff like that. So the things that have inspired me are having other women to encourage me and pour into me.
Yeah.
My mother's friend, she would tell me, you down right now, but you're not going to always be down, and just going from, I'm going to be just transparent, going from a period when I was 27, I had my lights, my gas, my water, all of these things cut off in one time. And not at one time, but just, it was like February, my lights got cut off, and so on and so forth.
Just trickle down effect.
And I had saw this guy on the bus, and I was like, he worked at the place I worked at, and he was like, I said, listen, if they hiring, let me know. And literally, I had Josh, which is my youngest son, and when I say that God ordered my steps, I got a job when my son was like 3 months, and I had been off work for like 2 years, going through a depression. And then after I got the job, I met my husband October of that same or following year. And so it's just knowing that, and I told God, I'm gonna just be honest. I said, I was on the floor, and I know that somebody can resonate with this story. That's why I'm gonna tell it. I was on the floor in my room, and it was a mess. It was chaos everywhere. And I said, God, if I can't do no better than this, take me away. Let somebody else raise my children, because this is not in my mind as a young mother.
Yes.
What I anticipated being able to do for them. This is not good.
This is not what you envisioned.
This is not what I envisioned. And maybe I didn't even have a vision, right? And that's another thing that's super important, is having a vision. But I told him, I said, if I can't do no better than this, take me away or fix this.
Yeah.
And literally everything in my life started to fall into place. And it still hasn't been all roses and lollipops, but I just knew that I wanted better for my children. And if you start from that place as a young mother, as an older mother, that you want better for your children, nothing else is going to happen except for the after effect and the positive things that can come from that, and removing people from your life that don't mean you no good.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, that completely answered the question. I think even more of a broader answer to that question, which I think that, again, will resonate with people listening. Again, there's other people out there who are in their 30s and 40s who went through that and may still be feeling that little bit of shame, and then hearing that it's okay to let it go in this moment. Let's dive into, jump into a toolbox for young mothers. If, before you read an insert or so forth, if you could just, what tools would we find in this book? What tools are you